bean to bar movement started very strong from USA and in the last 10 years arrived everywhere in the world. Sure is that also the biggest country near the United States could not be touched by the bean to bar. So, for this episode, we bring you in Canada. We go to British Columbia at Invermere, where there is a good friend of chocolate made directly from the cocoa beans like Glen Davies founder with his wife of Wild Mountain Chocolate. Enjoy!
Hello guys, welcome back to the Choco Zone Podcast. And this time we go in Canada, in the far Canada, in the British Columbia, where we have the honor to meet Glen Davies, the owner of Wild Mountain Chocolate. Hello Glen, how are you?
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning, Giuseppe. Good morning, Umberto.
Hi Glenn, how you doing?
You're fantastic.
Good. Well, this is quite a good answer during these times. This enthusiasm make us happy.
Yeah, because he made chocolate, so he's happy.
That's true. That's true.
Right? Even in times of COVID, chocolate goes over very well. People still like chocolate, even at home.
Great. That's right. So, Glenn, each time when we start with our podcast, we ask to the guest to tell us about him. How did he start about the chocolate, and what was the business he made before to start? So,
Sounds good.
it's time for you.
Okay. We got into the chocolate industry because we watched a documentary on the ethics of chocolate. It involved commercial chocolate and the way it's produced, the way it's farmed, the ethics of the way the farmers are supported, and the chemical usage. And it was a very powerful documentary. And we had been looking for a business in our small town as a family. We wanted to start our own company. And I'm going to say that chocolate found us. We have a very good skill set to match what chocolate is about, which is chocolate is very technical, and that suits me very well. I'm a technical oriented person. My wife has been in the food industry before from an accounting standpoint, so she brought the finance and also the experience in the large food producer industry as a background. So our skills very much matched what we needed to do to start chocolate in Canada. And we also looked in Canada. There's very few actual bean to bar makers. I'm going to say less than a couple of handfuls, and that's it. So the opportunity, we saw a massive opportunity as the consumer becomes more educated to offer a good product made right here in Canada, right from the bean, actual chocolate, and to deliver that to the mass consumer, to try to help them, educate them on what chocolate and the potential of chocolate should be. So.
Okay. And about your brand, I already read in your website about Wild Mountain, what's the meaning, but it came to my mind that maybe the word wild may have some connection with maybe bean to bar chocolate versus commercial chocolate, something like that. Where it come to the origin of this brand?
Very good question. Wild Mountain comes from us. It comes from our heart. It comes from our family and my wife. We've lived in the mountains. We got married in the mountains. Our children are born here. It is the mountains are part of what we do. We play in the mountains. We work in the mountains, and the mountains are very wild. We really like the outdoors, the clean air. So that was a huge part of driving that feeling into the chocolate that we make that chocolate special. We're very lucky to live where we do, and the Wild Mountains is a big part of it. In respect to chocolate, it's working with the bean. It's those beans that are wild. It's all the variety in the beans and the complexity in the flavors that's wild. It's what really excites us. Being able to offer that out to the world and teach people and educate them on what bean to bar and good chocolate should be. And that's where the wild comes into it from us compared to the commercial chocolate.
Okay, so in some extent, yes, the bean to bar versus the documentary you saw about the commercial chocolate and the industrial chocolate. We don't want to put opposite one kind of chocolate with the other. Okay, the commercial chocolate is what we are used to when we grew. I was educated in commercial chocolate. I mean, I'm used to when I was a kid. I used to eat that kind of food, so I cannot tell that is wrong. But with this new adventure, with this new, movement and attitude, everything changed. I don't know if it's the same for you. I cannot eat the same chocolate I used to eat when I was a kid. I definitely go for the worst bean to bar chocolate, but I'm going for the bean to bar chocolate.
Same. I echo everything you say. I completely agree. I also was raised on commercial chocolate, and I struggle to eat it now. I try every once in a while just for fun, but it's just not the same. And in my opinion, chocolate is um, it's being born. It's coming out. Much like people have discovered wine a long time ago. Wine,
Exactly.
great.
Yeah.
Um, Many years ago, they discovered coffee, about 20 years ago. 15, 20, 10 years ago, it was beer. And everyone went through this education and supporting local and really exploring what's available in that world. And chocolate's going that way right now. And
Yeah.
that's what's exciting.
I agree for everything. Just my curiosity, but when you did your first chocolate bar from the cocoa beans, did you do at home or what
Yes.
is your experience? Tell us.
It's an amazing. I will never forget it. Um, I got beans from Venezuela. It was an Akumara from Venezuela, non-organic, of course, but we roasted it at home. We ground it, and when it came out, it was simple. Just we basically make the same chocolate now, exactly, and it absolutely blew us away. We couldn't believe how good that chocolate was. The flavors were incredible. It just we didn't realize the chocolate could be that absolutely amazing. Obviously, a very fantastic bean. Venezuela does wonderful
Yeah,
beans, as
you
you know.
you took one of the best
The
or
best,
also
yeah.
the best cocoa beans, so it
The-
was so difficult to do a bad
Yes,
thing, no?
the standards are very high.
Yeah, yeah, I know. So it was easy to do. You
Yeah.
feel yourself a great chocolate, chocolatier, French chocolatier. Very cool. Okay. Um, I know that you work with your family, and so tell us the positive things to work with the wife. I know that somebody has a problem to work with the wife. Uh, I work with my wife, not all the days, but often, and I have no problem. But I know people that has this kind of problem. So what about you with Helen, your wife?
don't say everything is positive, okay? Don't say only good things. Is your
Oh,
wife around? Yeah.
she's here watching. She's laughing.
Oh,
So good.
so be careful,
Hi, Ellen.
man.
How
Be
you
careful.
doing?
I would say actually, it's my wife that has to work with me actually more than anything. So she's very patient. I'm very lucky to have my wife as a partner here in the business. In all honesty, it's never easy. I think working as a family, it has its unique challenges, but the benefits far outweigh the challenges in this case, especially when it comes to chocolate. When you're doing something you love, my wife loves it with passion, like I do. Our children love it. They work here in the factory too occasionally, and they're very very passionate about it. And for us, we are leading in teaching our children what it takes to be an entrepreneur, what it takes to work hard, what it takes to challenge yourself and just go for it, because our background is not, I was not a chocolate maker before this, but I believe that everybody can do anything they want to do if they're willing to work and they're willing to sacrifice and they're willing to not listen to anybody that says no and just go get it. And so that's what we are doing. And we're trying to lead by example and teach our children this. And that's one of the best lessons we'll ever pass them.
What was your job before? I am curious also about it.
Sorry?
What do you do before to start with chocolate?
What did you do? Which is your business before?
Yes, I was a salesperson.
Oh,
I
really?
sold, yep, I actually was a salesperson for industrial automation. So much like your control systems in your equipment, I sold automation controls, basically computers that would run factories involving sensors and power conditioning and power supply. So I worked for an electrical company, but I sold much of the equipment that you guys actually have inside your machinery. I understand that stuff very, very well. Um,
Good.
and I was in the bicycle industry many years ago. So I worked at Rocky Mountain Bicycles here in town. I raced bicycles for many years. So that's where I was before I was in the automation and sales industry. So really nothing to do with chocolate.
So
But
you went from a numbers job to a heart job, no? A passion job.
yes, and
Yeah.
it's interesting because the automation is very technical. As you know, the technical end of these electrical and the controls industry, my mind works that way. So tempering chocolate, for example, as you know, is extremely technical, very sensitive, and I feed off that. I really enjoy that challenge of making
Mhm.
everything just right and getting to learn the nuances of the machinery. That's getting my hands on it. That's what I like to do.
I see. Talking about your country, okay, we are meeting a lot of different people from different regions and area in the world. Okay, so we are trying also to understand and figure out which are the differences in Canada, which are the flavor. I mean, at least what you are used to. Okay, because I guess that you always have to think about what you can sell, what is more, likely to be set to be sold there in your country. So, which are the typical food that are successful in a way that is more enjoyable for the Canadians?
So, from a chocolate perspective, they are much into commercial chocolate, and most of it is milk chocolate. So, very much the large names that you hear in the chocolate industry, they rule, of course. But the number one question I get asked these days is about bean origin. It's about, are your beans ethically sourced, right? Are they fair trade? And so that's where the consumer is driving for us right now. So the majority still eats a dairy milk bar and the big name brands for sure. They're still very popular in the young people, but um, we're starting to see more emphasis on quality chocolate bars in the stores. It's changing quite rapidly here in Canada. But right now, there's a massive opportunity, and that's because the majority of people are still very North American set in the conception of chocolate and how they perceive these big companies.
Yeah, one of the biggest challenge I think is for the bean to bar chocolate makers is to switch the the taste of the average consumer from milk, sugar, what is with the main ingredient of the chocolate, the commercial chocolate, to the cacao. And are you succeeding in making people understand that there are so many flavors, so many aromas in the cacao bean that it's completely, we should call it probably in a different way that is not chocolate. We cannot because otherwise you lose, the traceable of the traceability of the food. But basically, it's something that we are not used to. So, do you succeed in telling this is? Can you guess this is flavor? This is particular aromas, and do Canadians accept it? Or are that they receiving your information, your feedback, your passion?
Yes, and there's two ways that we do that. The first way, and unfortunately COVID has kind of stopped it, we've been in business for just over 3 years now. And for the first 2.5 years, I went out to the stores and I did demos, I did tastings. I did hundreds of tastings, hundreds of them at every store we have. So I would go on weekends and I would line up all of our bars, and then I would taste sample. And every customer in that store was able to test at least 3 different origins of bean with no flavor added. So I had them experience the beans for what they are, for simple 2 ingredient chocolate. And then that way they could experience the beautiful difference in flavors. And everybody was, wow, like what an aha moment, they say. And the second is that we always lead with our origins. So in our bars, we make sure part of our chocolate bar package to the retailer involves origins. It has to. If we just look at flavors, we are going to be stuck with all the big manufacturers as they jump on salted caramels and the maple and adding the nuts and all the things. Anyone can do that. But to work with the beans and the different origins and use a bean from Peru or even a different cooperative in Peru, for example, and a bean from Madagascar as we do, and a bean from Ecuador, and make sure we never lose that identity of the individual countries and the individual cooperatives and where the origins come from, and keep those ones pure. So in our line, you will see flavors, but you will also see origins. And that is what identifies us to the consumer just looking at the shelf from the other chocolates, because none of them have origin chocolate.
Yeah. How many origins of cocoa you have in for your chocolate, and how do you meet them? So in which way you find the farmers, or you go to the trade cocoa organizations?
Yep, excellent question. We have 4 varieties. We have a bean that we get from Peru, a bean that we get from Ecuador. We use a Madagascar, and we have a 4th origin. We keep a bit of a secret, and it's from the Caribbean. And
Okay.
it's a very nice bean. So how do we source these beans? I went to Ecuador. I toured Ecuador for over a week, and I met many different cooperatives down there. And I met a cooperative that I was very interested in doing business with while I was there. And we traced their beans. So we contacted them, and we buy their beans through a broker in Belgium. But we know exactly where the beans come from. We know the farmers and the cause that they do. We know everything's organic. We know everything is ethical. And we know we have a fairly direct relationship. I went to Peru. I went to Peru on my own. I went into the Amazon. I met the cooperative again. I met probably 25 to 30 different cooperatives, cocoa producers, and I sampled their cocoa beans. And because we're organic, it does have a smaller supply chain. Ours are more limited as being organic. Not many farmers are organic yet. And so I got to choose from select ones. And then our bean from Madagascar, we go on reputation. It's an Acason's Madagascar bean. It's famous. It's won awards. So 3 wonderful beans, and they're very good offerings. I think a good origin, because of Peru and Ecuador being sources of the origin of cocoa. It's a good example for the consumer and the general public to get a flavor of where it comes from, where the beginning of cocoa was.
Yeah.
Did you say that you buy the Ecuadorian beans from Belgium company?
Yes, I do.
You cannot buy directly from them?
I could, but I'm not up to a container yet. We
Okay.
buy, so we're typically, in Belgium, they do a consolidation for 1 container for us. And so, yes, our intention is to buy direct. We have communication with the cooperative in the country, but we just can't buy a whole container yet. We'll get there.
Just a little question. I don't want to know the 4th origin, but for the Peruvian, Ecuadorian, and from Madagascar, what is a little lesson? What is the difference of the flavor in a short way that you can say to us?
Absolutely, I can. In my opinion, the Madagascar has a very classic flavor note of plum, of raisin, of red fruits and berries, a little bit of citrus and cinnamon flavor to it. It's very, very fruity, not bitter at all, very smooth, really nice, really like sugar. The Peruvian bean is the one we have right now is a Grandiapatera, and it's a beautiful bean. It has notes of caramel in it. It has notes of fruit flavor. Again, red berries in it, but it has a particular creaminess to it that is really, really nice. Our Ecuadorian bean is, in Ecuador, it's a Criollo bean, and it's what they call pure nacional. Our bean is an heirloom pure nacional bean, and it has in Ecuador they call it arriba, and meaning up. And arriba is that national, nice acidic, dark, pungent flavor that is good in Ecuadorian cocoa beans. Maybe a bit more acidic, but again, nice fruity notes in it, and a good quality chocolate.
Yeah.
And listen, I think that there is always, well, at least for some countries, to use the different bean, the origin of the beans, okay, but also the origin of the chocolate maker. Okay, so for example, in Italy, okay, so it's like in other countries, like in Japan, in the country, or Peru, also in Peru, that there are countries that are famous for their food. Okay, it's fine. I'm going to use this origin instead of the other origin. I made my chocolate, but is there a way where the country, the origin country of the chocolate maker, can be used in worldwide to say, okay, this is a peculiar chocolate made in Canada. Which are the features that you think that could be used under your perspective as a Canadian chocolate maker?
Okay. Yeah. No, that's okay. This is a tough one for me because Canada is so large.
Yeah.
As a country, we have many different environments in our country. We have the Arctic, we have desert, we have forest and rainforest. So as a producer, me personally, I have the benefit of being in the mountains, somewhat not near the coast. And our benefit here, for example, is our climate is very dry and it's very cold. That's very good for bean storage. That's
Yeah.
very good for roasting. It's very good for chocolate production. It's much easier when it's cool and you can control your temperature, as you know. So from my perspective, it comes down to we have the benefit as Wild Mountain Chocolate of being in the environment in the mountains that we are in the elevation and the dryness and lack of air. As a Canadian, everybody associates us with maple syrup and beavers and things like that. But there's none of that in chocolate unless I do a maple chocolate, I guess. But Canada has a high quality, a reputation for doing things well. We put a lot of effort into everything we do. Ethics are very important. We tend to be quite gentle and considerate, I believe. So I think that we put a lot of that into our chocolate. There's a lot of details in chocolate, a lot of care, a lot of love, and we try to keep it simple and clean, healthy.
I see. And for your experience, how important is technology? When we make a chocolate classes here, we normally say that chocolate has always been a big company product, a big company food, okay, because the machines were big, the investment was big. You cannot get the beans directly from the farmers and things like that. So it's been always something that now things are changing. We can say that it's completely changed now. There are exhibitions for artisans. You can get everywhere. Globalization helps you in, meeting people that wants to buy your chocolate, even they are on the other side of the world. How important is the technology to be able to, how technology helps you in developing your product, your food?
Absolutely critical. If you don't want to be working out of a bowl, you need to enjoy technology, because otherwise you're going to do everything by hand, and that's fine if you're going to work in a very small kitchen and you have a very small audience. But for us, our goal, for instance, we want to share bean to bar quality chocolate with the masses, and to do that, you have to embrace technology. It's critical. We use it in just about every stage. Our roaster is a very high-tech roaster. It's modified, and of course, I use my own skills in it. So it's completely custom, but it's high technology, and we use every ounce of it. Number one is in the tempering and depositing right behind me here. We could not do anything we do without this wonderful machine behind us here.
Yeah.
It's an art, and learning the machine is awesome. And you guys have done a really good job of putting that machine together. The cooling tunnel has been a massive thing for us, other than hand loading a fridge. It just takes the guesswork away and allows us to increase our productivity while maintaining our quality. That's really what it is. And technology is coming more and more in all aspects of what we do.
I guess you don't want winnowing and cracking manually anymore. That would be a crazy
The
process.
hair dryer method, right?
Exactly.
With the hammer. When we are quite close our appointment, and each time the last question is how do you see the chocolate in Canada, but also for your company in 2030? So how is the future? Also with COVID, but over the COVID, I am more than sure that the COVID will finish soon and we will start back with our lives. But what is the future according to you for chocolate and for Wild Mountain chocolate?
Yep. Excellent. I have nothing but pure excitement for the future. In my opinion, the consumers are getting smarter and smarter, and they're trying to educate themselves. They are picking up the package and reading what's in what they eat. And that is really important. So what I see for the future is bean to bar, as it grows very quickly right now, is putting a lot of pressure on the large commercial manufacturers to clean up their act, to source their beans ethically, to support their food chain all the way from the source, from the farmers, all the way to the consumer, and to make that beneficial for everybody. And that's where I hope a lot of the effect of the bean to bar and the craft movement, the result is in the large companies changing. We need to push them hard. And so driving the bean to bar market and all the local produce, which is another item, I think that consumers will shop more local. So you're going to see Canadians buying Canadian chocolate, and Americans buying American chocolate, and Europeans buying European chocolate. And that's a good thing too. There's benefits for the environment, for the world, for those local businesses as well, as we start to really examine what is in our food and where do we get it and where does it come from. And so I see nothing but opportunity in the bean to bar world.
So you believe that we will become more educated consumers?
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay,
And
good.
our job is also to do that, to help perform that. So every bean to bar maker out there, as you can see, is pushing the message. It's to share that message with the world. Hey, look, look at all these different beans. The complexity is greater than grapes, greater than wine with cocoa beans. And, we don't look at chocolate like a vintage. We don't buy chocolate right now. Oh, this is origin and this vintage yet. But I can see that coming. And the bean to bar makers are driving all this change. So that's the exciting part.
Yes, yeah, we 100% agree with you. Yeah.
And do you think that you will go to make also other kind of products with chocolate over the chocolate bars?
Yes,
Or
we
not?
will. We
Aha.
already have, actually. Can you get me something, man? I'll give you an example of
Yeah.
two of the products we're changing. However, it's still chocolate. We came out with a new line. We just launched it. Actually, I should let you know something about Wild Mountain chocolate. 2 weeks ago, we received our organic certification.
Oh, good.
Great.
Yes, European, USDA, and also Canadian. And that makes us the very first organic chocolate maker in Canada.
How long did it take to get all these certifications?
Well, we started from the day we opened our door. We built our factory around being organic. Our design right from the start, our family believes in organic methods. We don't like chemicals in our food. So we really highly believe in organic. We shop organic, we live organic. And so we always wanted our chocolate to be organic. So it's actually taken the full 3 years, 3.5 years of our business to get here. And everything we did along the way was geared towards becoming an organic bean to bar chocolate maker. And we've achieved that now, which we're really, really excited about. So that's our big news, is we are now certified organic. But
Okay, great.
Cool.
okay, here's our other products. We'll show you. So this is our shaved drinking chocolate. It has the organic label on it now. And this is this is our organic classic shaved drinking chocolate. So we do 4 varieties of the drinking chocolate now. We do a dark Peru, a classic, we do a cafe mocha, and we do a chai, spiced chai. It's very nice.
Great.
So you're going to sell a lot of that in South America. They are very used to this kind of chocolate.
Ah, that guess where I tried it first?
Yeah, they call it chocolate en taza.
Fantastic, eh? Yeah, so we're looking forward to it. We've just launched it, and it is selling as fast as we can make it. So wonderful, wonderful product. And then one other product we do,
Yeah.
cocoa nib.
Good.
Why not? It's
Yeah,
halfway through.
sure. Sure.
With the cacao you have, you must do it.
So you can buy cocoa nibs on the marketplace, but what makes our cocoa nib different? We do cocoa nib from Madagascar, we do cocoa nibs from Peru, and we do cocoa nib from Ecuador. So the consumer can try the different flavors of cocoa nib based on the origin. Again, leading with the origin is very important.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Sure. Okay, Glenn. Thank you very much for your time. Say hello also to the
To
big
Helen.
boss behind Helen.
Can we say hello? Can we say hey, Lamb?
Yeah. I think we met her in
She
our
visited
school.
us. She visited
Yeah.
Two
us.
years ago.
We went to Milan on a coffee tour there 2 years ago, and here she is.
Hi.
Hi, how
Hi.
you doing?
See you again.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. And I hope to visit your factory very soon, but I am not sure because we are also still now under COVID. Okay.
We look forward
Thank you.
to it anytime. You're more than welcome, and we really appreciate you and what you do. Thank you very much for
I
your
will.
time.